大家好，我是 Martin, and this is Short Stories brought to you by the Taichung Ke Language Center. Today's short story is from one of my favorite authors named Samuel Clemens, better known as Mark Twain. The story we are reading today is The Prince and the Pauper, which he wrote in 1881 and has since then become a classic. What is a classic? Well, a classic is a book that everybody praises, but nobody reads. Well, before I begin today's classic story, we are going to first review the vocabulary and vocabulary example sentences. Then, after the story, we will review again, but this time using reading comprehension questions. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. Vocabulary. Neighborhood. Neighborhood. Stacy decided to move to a quiet neighborhood with her family next month. Escape. Escape. Daniel believes attending university will help him escape from his boring life. Pass by. Pass by. Mark felt very excited when he saw a nice car passing by. Invite. Invite. Tom invited many friends to his house for dinner. Exchange. Exchange. Jerry and Ted exchanged email addresses to keep in contact. Exactly. Exactly. Those twins in my class look exactly alike. Surround. Surround. In the forest, the hikers were completely surrounded by trees. Exhaust. Exhausted. After the long race, the runners were all exhausted. Cozy. Cozy. Brian dreams to have his own cozy coffee shop someday. Assume. Assume. Steve will assume his new responsibilities at work next week. Behavior. Behavior. Mary's good behavior at school has always been praised by her teacher. Rumor. Rumor. A rumor has spread that the celebrity couple was getting divorced. Sorrowful. Sorrowful. I cried when I heard the sorrowful news of my friend's death. Recognize. Recognize. At a museum, Julie recognized an old friend from high school. Pretend. Pretend. The little boy likes to pretend that he is a Superman. Hardship. Hardship. My grandpa led a poor life of hardship and labor. Suffer. Suffer. The patient is suffering from a painful injury. Poverty. Poverty. Growing up in poverty is never easy for a child. And now for the story. A long time ago, there were two boys born on the same day, but to different families. One was Edward, Prince of England, who led a comfortable life at the palace, but he had no friends to play with and felt curious about life outside the palace. The other was Tom, who grew up in a poor neighborhood of London and had to beg for food daily, so he longed to escape from his own hard life. One day, Prince Edward was playing alone in the garden when he saw Tom passing by. Tom looked terribly hungry and was forced to leave by a guard, but Edward felt sorry for Tom and invited him to his palace. There, they told each other about their lives, and each was fascinated by how the other lived. They even exchanged clothes to see what it felt like, and surprisingly found that they looked exactly alike. Wow. So they decided to exchange roles as well. Since Prince Edward was wearing Tom's rags, the palace guards thought he was Tom, the beggar boy, and made him leave the palace. Prince Edward felt so excited that he wandered around. However, he didn't know that he was actually surrounded by the dangers of London. He got lost and was chased by a group of drunken vagabonds. When the night finally came, Edward felt exhausted and cold and started to miss his cozy bedroom. Meanwhile, Tom was having his wonderful supper in the palace. Though Tom assumed the life of the prince, he was worried that his true identity would be discovered. His rude behavior seemed strange to the royal family, and rumors began to spread that the prince lost his mind. Therefore, Tom tried even harder to learn the royal etiquette. While Tom became more comfortable in his new role, King Henry suddenly passed away. Consequently, preparations were made to crown Tom King of England. Oh, King Tom. As Edward heard the news of his father's death, he felt sorrowful and decided to return to his palace. On coronation day, when the crown was about to be placed on Tom's head, Edward showed up and forbade it. Edward claimed that he was the true prince by taking out the royal seal that he carried with him at all times. It was also then that Tom's mother recognized Tom and called out to him. Tom felt thrilled to see his family after being separated from them for several months. He was too tired to pretend that he was a prince anymore. So Tom immediately affirmed Edward's claim and happily fell into his mother's arms. After experiencing so much hardship in London, Edward came to realize how his people suffered from poverty and learned to appreciate his royal life. Therefore, he became a merciful king who was kind to the poor until the end of his days. Wow, what a wonderful story. A poor boy and a rich boy, they exchange lives and they see experiences from the other's point of view. I think that's the basis of the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, but you might have to ask Eddie Murphy about that. Okay, well, now that we've finished the story, let's do some reading comprehension. Question number 1. Why did Prince Edward invite Tom to his palace? A. He felt sorry for Tom. B. Tom was his classmate. C. He liked Tom's nice clothes. D. Tom gave Edward a gift. The answer is A. He felt sorry for Tom. He saw him and he looked very hungry, so he thought, oh, you deserve a little food. Question 2. Why did Tom and Edward switch roles? A. They wanted to experience each other's lives. B. Edward wanted to avoid taking a test. C. Tom wanted to meet the princess. D. They wanted to play a trick on the king. The answer is A. They wanted to experience each other's lives. Question 3. How did Edward prove that he was the prince? A. He had a birthmark. B. He had the royal seal. C. His father recognized him. D. He sang the secret royal song. The answer is B. He had the royal seal. Question 4. What kind of king did Edward become? A. A merciful king. B. A cruel king. C. A stingy king. Or D. A brave king. Well, maybe he is brave, but they don't talk about that. Mostly they talk about him being A. Merciful. He became a merciful king. Okay. All right, thank you very much for watching. I will see you all again next time. Bye-bye.